You are now listening to Team Bandwagon Never Lose Again podcast. And now for your host, Jamal Brown and Nicholas Garcia. Welcome everybody to a special Christmas holiday special here at Team Bandwagon Never Lose Again podcast. I'm your host, Santa Jamal Claus. I got my helper, Mr. Alvin, the Chickmunk, and then Mr. Stefan, Elf Thomas. I got all the Santa's helpers here.
Why am I a chipmunk?
Why am I an elf?
I don't know, man. That's just how the cookie crumbles, bro.
All right. Well, Merry Christmas to you, Jamal.
I know what I'm getting you.
Piece of coal.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special Christmas episode for you guys. We're gonna go down a list of some top sports movies that we all enjoy watching and reminiscing and living through, and please let us know if we missed any of your favorite movies in this list. Holler at us. Let us know what we're missing. Let us know if we're missing what is it, that movie with the girls don't cry in baseball? We don't cry in baseball.
Major League. I mean, not Major League. A League of Their Own.
Yeah,
that's an incredible way to kick off the list.
It didn't make this list though.
There's no crying in baseball.
That's an incredible movie. It should be on the list.
It should be, but it ain't on the list.
Have you seen A League of Their Own?
A long time ago.
Dude, I cried at the end of that movie. I cried like a baby.
You said you cried watching Bambi, bro. So I don't know, man.
Who didn't cry watching Bambi?
We were all like 3 years old watching Bambi. So yeah, we all cried.
If you didn't cry during Bambi, I don't trust you. I don't trust anyone who didn't cry during Bambi.
I'm a serial killer because I have no emotion. So going down the list, maybe that can be a comment. Somebody let us know. Let us know. We left it out on purpose, so you guys can holler at us.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about a bunch of movies, and if there's something that you like that you don't hear, hit us in the comments.
Yes, so be enraged that is not in there. Let us know
and blame Jamal.
Or if you hear something in there, then you're like, what? Let us know too, because Jamal's the one who made this list.
Oh my gosh, we all.
Well, it's not particularly like a best. This is our best favorite movies, favorite sports movies. It's like some movies that we know and we particularly love, and we want to share that with you as our Christmas present.
That's right.
To Bandwagon Nation.
That's right. And we're gonna kick off the list. The first movie we're gonna talk about is the Karate Kid. Because it's not the Karate Kid. It's pronounced the Karate Kid.
It's real interesting that we're talking about our favorite sports movies, and we started off with an obscure sport, quote unquote.
Come on, man, the crane kick.
I didn't say it's not a sports movie.
You walk around anywhere and just hold the crane pose, and they're like, Karate Kid. Don't kick me.
I'm not saying it's not a dope movie. I'm just saying when it's like, oh, they're going to talk about sports movies, people usually think, baseball, football, basketball.
The Karate Kid has some good principles in there, wax on, wax off.
It is a sports movie. I'm not saying it's not a sports movie. I'm just saying it's like, one of the weird selections for a quote-unquote sports movie is all I'm saying. It is
so
dope.
We're talking about the 1984 Karate Kid with Ralph Macchio.
Yes, we're not talking about
Smith, right?
No, we're not talking about Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan.
Just checking.
No, thank you.
Either way.
They technically didn't have any karate in that movie. It was Kung Fu.
Oh, it was Kung Fu. Yeah, the Kung Fu Kid. They should have just named it the Kung Fu Kid instead of Karate Kid. They wanted the Karate Kid money, though.
That's it.
But I agree. Karate Kid. That was a fun movie.
It was a fun movie. It had a lot of good learning principles in it, right?
Yeah, but nobody watched it for the learning principles. We watched it to see Ralph Macchio do the crane kick on Cobra Kai dude.
Yeah, and that's what I learned was if you have a bully, kick his butt with karate.
Yeah, but if you have a dumb bully, he's just gonna walk into a crane kick, see you sitting in the pose. Oh, what is he doing? Let me rush him.
The Karate Kid has a special place in my heart because my name is Stefan, and when I was a kid, some of my friends, I don't know if they were actually my friends, but they like to make fun of my name, and they would say Stefan Stefoff. And as mad as I wanted to be about it, because they were teasing me.
Steph on, Steph off.
Yeah, and they would do the wax on, wax off motion.
I found my new favorite.
And I was like, yo, like, that's hilarious. I can't even be mad at y'all.
And it's pretty clever.
That's pretty clever. I'm like, if you're going to pick on somebody, you might as well, you know.
You gotta be creative about it. You just can't just be doing random stuff.
Yeah. Like when you try to make fun of me and you try to do an imitation of me, you just say, look it, my name is Stefan. Like, that's not clever.
Like what you do to me?
What? What are you talking about? He's talking about.
Yeah, no clue, right?
Whatever. Karate Kid. Dope movie. Dope sports movie.
Dope sports movie. Next on the list. What we got on the list next?
Rocky.
Oh, snap.
Yo, Adrian, I did it.
Rocky. So is this like all the Rockies like lumped together?
No, absolutely not, because then you have to lump Rocky 5 in there.
Yeah, but
What is that? Is that the one with
Tommy Gunn?
With Tommy Gunn?
Yeah, that was.
well, we'll just act like that one didn't exist because, I mean, you know, we got.
Didn't he come back and beat up Tommy Gunn?
Yeah, at the very end of the movie.
Yeah, he wins at the end of.
Oh yeah, because they fall in the street.
Yeah,
right?
they fall in the street. Yeah, exactly.
He punched the bad guy in the end. The bad guy was like, touch me and I'll sue. And he was like, sue me for what?
So we're not adding Rocky 5 in there.
No.
We're gonna act like that one didn't exist.
And Rocky 6 too, right? With the
Rocky 6 was okay. It was all right. It wasn't great.
that was the 20 years later, right?
Yeah.
And then
And
he
you
had
have
Creed.
Apollo.
Yeah,
Creed,
he had Creed.
Creed,
mhm.
that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think we can put all of them in there. Cause the
As a
good ones will
as a-
kind of
as a
make up for.
collective?
They weren't that bad,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
the great ones kind of
I think
overshadowed.
5 was the only one that was really bad,
Yeah, it was
though.
really-
Like,
right.
I enjoyed 2. I enjoyed 3.
But it had the twist
4.
though, because like he's training him up, and all of a sudden like, wait a minute, like you're not fighting with him. You're gonna go with somebody else, And then he started bad mouthing them. So it was a good twist.
it was an odd.
You know,
I don't know.
bad movie.
Stallone
I mean-
was trying to flex his writing skills.
I mean, like, you could have a twist in like any movie. It doesn't make the movie any better. Like,
Okay, Rocky, the first one. A lot of people don't know that movie won Best Picture
It
in
did.
'76,
Won
dude.
Best
Like,
Picture.
it was if you want to watch just a good movie with good writing, good acting. Well, maybe not good acting, but the original Rocky's really good. Rocky 2, you got a second chance and you beat Apollo. They had a feel-good ending. Rocky 3 was all about fighting Clubber Lang. You're not hungry, Rock. I think anybody who
I
liked
think Rocky 3 was my favorite.
And they had, and then for him to beat Clubber Lang, they had to train him like a black guy. no one like talks about that, and they was like, "Yo, Rocky, you need some rhythm." And it's like,
they'll teach him how to
they
dance.
teach him how to do the rhythm because you know what I'm saying. So it's
Hey.
all good. Rocky learned how to fight like a black man. I'll take
he
that.
needed to though.
I don't know. Do the listeners know the racial makeup of the team Bandwagon crew?
I think they know now.
They have a general
I think
idea.
they know now, Mr.
They have a
Smith.
general idea. You know, it's all good.
Let's just say I'm affirmative action.
So, have Merry Christmas, Bandwagon Nation. Merry
Happy
Christmas.
Kwanzaa.
So, but and then we got Hulk Hogan was in that movie.
Yeah,
the
he
Hulkster,
was. That's right.
The
I forgot
Hulkster
about
was
that.
in that movie. So
Yeah,
I was
because
all about
because
that.
at that time that was a little bit before my time as far as wrestling goes. But Hulk Hogan and Mr. T used to run together, right?
Yeah, they hung out together a few times. They were at WrestleMania 1 together, I believe. It was the very first WrestleMania. Hulk Hogan and
But they did like promos together
they
and
did
stuff.
promos, and yeah, Mr. T, he had a little short stint at with the WWF at the time. But yeah, it was fun. It was and Hulk Hogan was the biggest thing in entertainment at the time. He was like everyone's like The Rock is the man. He transitioned from wrestling. He's the most entertaining dude in entertainment. But at that time, it was Hulk Hogan.
It was.
You know, so-
He gave Mick a heart attack.
He did.
Gave Mick a heart attack, man.
He did.
Nobody can give Mick
He
a heart
did.
attack.
No,
He
that
did.
was clever.
That was Clubber?
That was clever. It was when after Rocky lost.
Right. Yeah.
No, but remember Hulk Hogan? They were chasing each other in the ring, and then that's when he started.
Oh, you're right. He started.
That's right.
Yeah,
He
you're
was-
right. You're right.
He's trying to stop it.
All right. Did anybody else cry when Mick died?
No.
I did.
I cried harder when Apollo died in 4.
After Ivan got a hold of him?
If he dies, he dies.
Ivan Drago.
Ivan Drago.
That was messed
Every time
up.
I meet an Ivan, I'm like, oh, Ivan Drago, and they're like little kids. They're like, who?
But
Right, what are you talking about?
but to Nick's point, the Rocky series did a good job of ramping up the emotion with the way they treated the characters, that when something did happen to them, it really felt like you felt it. It wasn't like, oh, okay.
Well, I think what made the movie so captivating was they were so emotional. The first one, you had a good boxing movie where the guy who was supposed to be the protagonist of the movie,
underdog.
he actually lost.
Yeah.
But it was the point of that he hung in there with the champ, right? The second movie, they were just kind of like, hey, we did really well with the first movie. Let's let him win in this movie. And then the third one, I think, was just more for fun.
He wrote it himself, so.
Yeah, he was like,
I think I'm going to win this time.
And then Clever Lang, like, people still talk about Clever Lang. This is like 30-something years later, and he's still such an iconic character. How many times do you have friends still talking about dead meat? I love Clever Lang. I love that guy.
Sucker.
Yeah. So it wasn't just for like this. Like, it wasn't just about the spectacle of the boxing matches. It's like, one of the, we're in the movies now, and that's like where I really like, like I love talking about movies. But one of the great things about the Rocky movies is that they didn't just do it to be like, oh, we just got to work it up to the boxing match. It was like, these were good character pieces.
Absolutely.
Like, like they were about.
I was kind of yawning though, like Rocky got his first apartment. I'm like, oh yeah, come on, man.
Let's start fighting.
And yeah, I did like the tension though with the brother-in-law, because I know kind of how family awkwardness is, and he had his issues, but Rock still loved him and still like let him hang out. So that was pretty dope.
Yeah.
That was pretty dope.
Rocky's a patient dude.
Right. And
He
then,
is.
and then we're not going to talk about 5.
Yeah, we'll bypass 5. 6 was just super entertaining because there's no way that 60-year-old man.
I kind of like 5 because
See, I tried.
his son.
I'm sorry, Bandwagon listeners. I tried to push past.
No, because that was like the development of his
it
son.
was
Like his son,
emotional. Yeah,
was
true.
trying to look up for a hero, and like he was training this other guy like his son, and then
You're never there for me.
Yeah. So that was a good like struggle,
I mean, it's good character development. I mean, except for Tommy Gunn, who we still don't know. The only reason we remember him is because of his name.
Hey, he was a legit, like, there's a 30 for 30 out there about
He was a
him.
real fighter.
He's
Yeah,
a
like the
legit
guy
fighter,
who
right?
played Tommy Gunn, or Tommy Gunn is based on a guy named Tommy Gunn.
No, I think the guy who
guy
played
who played
him,
him
he
is-
was a real
yeah.
fighter, right?
Yeah, isn't his name?
Well, so was
think his name's Tommy
So
Gunn.
was Hulk Hogan. He was a real fighter.
Yeah, WWF is totally real.
No, Rocky 6, that was a real fighter, Tavar, right?
Yeah. Rocky 6, I like more of the character development with his son in that one because I like the speech he gives his son.
I don't remember that one. Is that his son was grown already?
His son was grown.
Come on, man, he missed all that time. Like, I like the 5 when he was still had a chance to reach his son. Like, don't be giving him like no history lesson. Son, I should have been a better dad.
But I like when he's like, it's not about getting knocked down. It's about how many times you get up after getting knocked down. That was a cool speech.
That's on like every motivation video on YouTube.
Okay, but coming
ever.
from Stallone, it means more
It is.
to me.
It is.
okay?
It is.
Right?
No, it is his voice.
Yeah.
They just took it and dubbed it on there. But
That's what I mean. It was a really cool speech. I like
that is a cool speech.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
What'd you
that's
guys
what
think?
life is about.
Yep.
That's what Team Bandwagon is about.
Life's gonna knock you down, but you just jump on the next bandwagon and have it help you get back up. Hey, man, I didn't get that job, but how the Warriors doing?
Warriors can't pay your bills. Better go out there and apply somewhere else, sucker.
Did you guys like Creed?
I loved Creed. I thought it was. I like Michael B. Jordan, so
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
it's kind of one of those things where he's almost to the category for me where if he's in a movie, I'll watch it and most likely love it because I just like watching him on screen.
I'm in the same boat as you. I liked him. I didn't really know who he was until Chronicle. I don't know if
Yep,
you guys ever saw
Yep.
Chronicle.
Chronicle.
Chronicle's really good.
Yep.
But
It is.
that's not a sports movie, but
It is good. That didn't sell me on Michael B. but I digress. Go ahead. Carry
Okay,
on. Go here on
but
it.
in his defense, like Chronicle was really good, and then he was in Fantastic Four. And I was like,
and it was,
I'll still watch Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
This movie
right.
sucks though.
Yeah,
Actually, I skipped over Fantastic
yeah.
Four. I couldn't
You didn't like,
handle it.
you didn't like
So
fan,
stomach
fan
bad.
four stick. Yeah,
I
it was-
forced myself to watch it because I was
Yeah.
like, I have to see how this
right.
ends.
Like I'm a superhero movie completist.
well, what's
so, like,
crazy
I'm gonna
is
watch,
I actually
but-
like every actor from that
in
movie.
the movie. But
Every actor in that movie I
I
like.
couldn't do it.
But
You
the
know,
movie was so bad.
I forced myself to watch Noah, and I was like, I'm never gonna do this again.
I never
Ever.
watched Noah. I
Ever,
can't
ever.
do it.
You know, I didn't believe the critics. I'm like, it can't be that bad. Yes, it was worse.
You want to hear something crazy though? You know where Michael B. Jordan got noticed? His first acting role ever. He was like 12. He was in The Sopranos.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a
He
little
got,
street.
he got killed off or what?
Yeah, he actually got shot.
I didn't know that.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, it's The Sopranos. It is what it is. And they're like, hey, you die really well. You want to be in a movie?
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty. Oh, and then he was also in. He was in The Wire.
He was in The
He
Wire.
was in The Wire.
You're right.
And he got shot in that too.
Man, HBO
Spoiler,
was just,
spoiler alert.
HBO was just killing off
This is
Michael B. Jordan.
What y'all got against Michael B. Jordan? HBO.
It was like, I don't know. People have beef with Michael Jordan, you know? So it was like, oh, Michael B. Jordan, we're going to kill him off
We're
too.
gonna
And put the crying face meme on top of him.
Oh man.
With two in trouble, forced up and in. Unbelievable.
If you like Never Lose Again podcast and you want to stay up to date on the latest episodes, hit us up on Team Bandwagon Facebook page and smash that like button. Team Bandwagon, never lose again.
Yeah.
All right.
So moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Next, we have, what is that?
Miracle.
The Miracle.
Do you believe in miracles?
This is Nick's favorite movie.
Well, it's not my favorite. It's one of my favorites.
You
I just
brought
like
it
this
up
based
like
on
10
true story.
times.
Okay, understand my childhood. Okay, my dad, all he did when I grew up was tell me sports stories, and this one he by far talked about the most. He was like, "You don't understand."
Really? That's no
Yes.
wonder. That explains a whole lot, Nick.
What does that mean?
That explains a whole lot.
What does that mean?
Because you're just like a walking encyclopedia of like sports trivia.
Yeah, I told these guys some funny stories later. I'm gonna regret it now. But my dad always talked about this game, and of course it was before I was born. But you know, 1980s U.S. hockey team trying to win it. USSR was dominating hockey at that time for many, many reasons. Steph has some speculations on that.
Steph
but-
has some conspiracy theories on why.
Conspiracy theories. They just made a
I
whole
got
document about a whole documentary about how many steroids some Russians were taking.
Hey,
Well, they had a lot of advantages, whether they were juicing or you had the entire USSR that they were allowed to recruit from. And then, of course, the USSR and the USA were actually in the Cold War at the time, so there's a big rivalry.
we probably have some millennial listeners, so do we
Yeah.
want to explain what the USSR was?
It was the Soviet Union. Russia owned like half of Europe. I
so
mean,
this is Russia back in the day.
Yeah, it was Russia, but they owned a lot of other countries, and they sucked. It was a bad place to live. And
Behind the curtain.
you weren't allowed to leave, and it just it was a hard time to be in
Soviet
Russia.
Union.
And we were in the Cold War with them, which meant for you millennials, nobody fired a shot. It was an economic war, and we just hated each other.
Right. But we
Anyway,
had like nukes pointed at each other.
the
just
best
in
way,
case.
the best way to explain it by USA's hockey team beating them and then going on to win the gold in the next game. Mind you, that wasn't the championship. That would be like South Carolina State beating the Golden State Warriors right now. It was such an
Because
underdog
U.S. you didn't
matchup.
mention U.S. was playing would only send amateurs and college students.
Right.
Where the USSR was using
They basically
their
retained
top,
their professionals.
pros, yeah.
Yeah, because you weren't allowed to leave the country.
Isn't there like a similar story with like basketball, like USA basketball in like the 80s?
Yeah,
where-
well, it was United States was like the Olympics was supposed to be amateur sports. Like it was promoted as like
Right.
amateur sports. So anyone who was in the NBA or the NHL didn't constitute amateur.
Right.
However, they realized that hey, like the idea of the Olympics is to send your best of the best.
Right.
So finally, the USA was like, we're gonna send our pros, and that's when they sent the Dream Team. And so the Dream Team was the first pro basketball players to go play
Yeah.
in the Olympics, and of course they face rolled everyone.
There was a lot of controversy
Yeah.
between like the USSR and some of the things they were getting away with in the basketball. But I think the reason why the 1980 hockey team was so important, it was played in Lake Placid, so in the United States. America got to watch their team upset what some argued is the greatest hockey team in the Olympics ever. And they went on to beat them, win the gold medal that year. So check out Miracle. It's a really good movie. I know Jamal said he hasn't seen it yet. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It's a really good movie.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Yeah, I don't know any of the other actors.
All right.
Bunch of B-rated actors, but it was made by Disney.
The most bandwagonist company in the world right
That's
now.
right. They own 90% of our country, I think.
Right. I think I pay taxes to Disney right now.
With two in trouble, forced up and in. Unbelievable.
Get the latest info on Never Lose Again podcast, Bandwagon Nation, and much more by following us on Twitter at Never Lose Again, where the E's are threes. Jump on Team Bandwagon. Never lose again.
Hey, we're back with more Team Bandwagon Christmas special, or Christmas edition, Christmas episode.
Special.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. It is a celebration. So we're back. We're talking about some of our favorite sports movies. And the next one on the list is a little gem called He Got Game by my boy Spike Lee, holding it down. Jesus Shuttlesworth, the greatest basketball player of all time in the world of He Got Game.
So I remember bits and pieces of this movie, but this is Ray Allen, right?
It's Ray Allen.
And then Jesus is
He was
that.
no. Ray Allen plays Jesus Shuttlesworth. That's the name of the player is Jesus Shuttlesworth, and Denzel Washington plays his dad in the movie.
I always thought in the movie Denzel Washington was Jesus.
Well, Denzel Washington is the savior of acting, so you could say that he's kind of like Jesus in that way.
The character name.
He's the Jesus of
What was his name? Do you remember his name?
Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of Denzel Washington's characters' names because I just see Denzel. Denzel is a genre of movie.
Washington's name was
No,
Jesus.
Jesus Shuttlesworth was Ray Allen, and Denzel Washington was Denzel Washington, and so the for those who don't know,
Denzel was Jake Shuttlesworth.
Jake Shuttlesworth. There you go.
Always thought.
I didn't know that because Denzel is Denzel
Dude,
all the time.
Mila Jovovich, I never know how to say her name. The girl from Resident Evil was in that movie.
Yeah, it was a bunch of people in that movie. Lala. I think she played
Lala was in it?
No, I think she played Lala. Didn't Mila play Lala?
Okay.
Do you remember the premise of
Yeah, He Got Game was all about, like I said, Ray Allen playing Jesus Shuttlesworth was the best basketball player in the country. He was being highly recruited by like hundreds of colleges. It felt like they got all these big time Division I college coaches to come do cameos and say like, oh yeah, we want Jesus Shuttlesworth on our team and everything. And the idea was that Jesus Shuttlesworth's dad, a.k.a. Denzel Washington, he was in prison. And the warden of the prison that Denzel Washington was in told Denzel that if you can get your son to go to my alma mater, I'll let you out of prison.
What?
That was the premise of He Got Game.
That's crazy.
So Denzel Washington gets to get released because he's on like some long sentence. He's like not up for probation for like years, but they let him out, and they say you have until signing day to get him to come to my college to sign with my college, and if you can get him to sign, then I'll let you out. So the movie is about Denzel trying to convince Jesus to go to his warden's college. The only problem is that of course Jesus Shuttlesworth is like, I don't know you. You ain't been in my life since I was a kid. You know, you've been in prison all this time. So they have a really strained relationship. So they have to rekindle their relationship and rebuild their relationship. And then Denzel has to try and convince Jesus to go to Big State, which is where the warden was from.
Do they play like one-on-one basketball?
They play. Yep, they play a game.
Did Denzel win?
I'm not telling you. You gotta see it for yourself.
movie.
No.
You gotta see it for yourself. I mean, we are.
That's what I respect about Steph. He doesn't like even movies I'm not gonna watch. He's like, I'm not telling you. I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna watch it, man. Just tell me.
I mean, we already
But-
spoiled all the Rocky movies, but we're not gonna spoil this one.
Oh my gosh, 40 years
We
later.
told everyone who died. Like, if you're ever gonna watch, hey, Team Bandwagon Nation, if you're ever gonna watch any of the Rocky movies, you know everybody who dies.
Yes. We forgot to say spoiler alert.
Spoiler
And we forgot to let people
alert.
give people time to leave the room. Like
Exactly.
people are actually gonna say, "What? These are spoilers."
You know
Let
what?
me leave the room.
gonna
That's
fast
a good
forward.
point because Rocky's like 40 years old, but at the same time, how many young people haven't seen that movie yet?
Yep. Sorry, guys.
And they're probably
Watch
gonna
them
watch
anyway.
a lot of it on this.
There's
on
still
this
good
Christmas break,
movies.
too.
Yeah. So anyway, if you haven't seen He Got Game, it's one of Spike Lee's a little bit more obscure movies. It's not one of the ones that people talk about when they talk about Spike Lee's movies, but it's a good one. I liked it a lot.
Gotcha. I'm remembering a movie we forgot to put on here. That I'm gonna put on here. The Waterboy.
Gatorade.
Oh,
Gatorade.
Adam Sandler's second best sports movie.
What's his first best?
Happy Gilmore, son.
Oh, that's true.
Happy Gilmore
That's
does
true.
not outshadow
All right,
Waterboy.
all right.
does.
This is the next
Yes, it
segment:
does.
Waterboy versus Happy Gilmore.
We can go
best
quote
best
from quote.
Adam
We can go
Sandler
scene
sports
from
movie.
scene.
I don't know if we can quote you one of
It's-
those movies without a beat, but
yeah, this is a family-friendly show here.
What is
It's a
the dude
family-friendly
from The Price is Right? That was classic. That was
Yeah.
classic.
oh,
Uh-huh.
Bob
Yeah,
Barker.
Bob Barker in
oh my
the fight.
gosh, that was
Right.
great.
And,
now you're gonna get it, Bobby.
It's like The Price is Wrong. Bleep. He starts-
Oh my god.
Hey, but
That
what was the
classic.
line you were saying earlier from Waterboy that the mom tells him?
when he was faking, he was getting marks and bumps and bruises from playing football, and he was lying to his mama about playing football. So so he told his mama that a gorilla attacked him. So every time he comes home, he's a gorilla that escaped from the zoo. And his mama asking, have they caught that gorilla yet? And he's like, no, the search continues, Ma.
I totally forgot about that until you brought it up.
That's a funny one too. And then you have the water sucks. It really, really sucks.
Man, that is a good debate.
Tackling juice. But then you also have his in Happy Gilmore, you have his coach with the hand.
Chubbs.
Chubbs.
Me and my brother talk about that scene all the time because he loves that scene where he's like, give me the ball, alligator, and he tries to bite his hand off, and he's like, you're missing one eye. You got Chubb's hand, and he kills the alligator. And he's like, he got your hand, but I got his head.
And talk about people who from their early movies before they became huge stars. Ben Stiller as the guy who ran his grandma's nursing home in Happy Gilmore.
You're right.
That was
Oh
Ben
my gosh,
Stiller.
it was
He was
Ben
running
Stiller.
the
It
nursing
was
home.
Ben Stiller because he was being
He was
the
running
jerk
the
to his
nursing.
grandma.
He was running the nursing home like a
He's
slave
like,
shop, like a
now my-
sweatshop.
My fingers hurt. Well, now your back's going to hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty.
How about a cup of shut the hell up?
He's like, yes, $400 a quilt. This is handmade quality stuff here.
Yeah. So
He's all like when he's in class and he's talking about the medulla
yeah, the
oblongata.
medulla oblongata.
And he's all,
Something's wrong
Mama
with his
said,
boy.
Mama said because it had such a big old teeth.
And then no toothbrush.
Yeah,
Big
no
old
toothbrush.
teeth, No toothbrush. No, it's the medulla oblongata.
And he said, well, your mom was wrong. He's like, no, you're wrong, Colonel Sanders. And he looked just like Colonel Sanders, though.
And then the Cajun assistant coach.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't understand a word that dude was saying.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh man.
I will put Happy Gilmore neck and neck with.
It's
with
a
Waterboy.
toss up.
They're both
It's a
classics.
toss up. I laugh very hard at both of them every time. So I don't know.
Cool. Well,
Sorry for getting too loud in your ears, listeners. We're having a good time. I hope you're having a good time.
Moving on. Major League.
Major League.
Major League.
Classic.
See,
Major League is a baseball movie. In case nobody knew by the title, Major League.
It's also a really just kind of like Happy Gilmore. You can't quote too many lines from the movie, but it's a classic.
yes,
It is. It is. Who we have in there? Mr. Winning himself, Mr. Originator of Team Bandwagon, Charlie Sheen.
Charlie
one of our
Sheen.
patron saints of Team
Tiger Blood.
Bandwagon, winning.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Omar Epps as Willie Mays Hayes.
I totally forgot Omar Epps.
I
Omar
totally
Epps,
forgot about
Willie
Omar
Mays
Epps
Hayes.
in that.
See, here's the thing. Like, I'm not originally from Ohio, but I lived there. When I went to college in Ohio, I moved from New York and went to college in Ohio, and I was in the Cleveland area, which means that I was kind of by default a Cleveland sports fan, for better or for worse. But Major League holds a special place in my heart because there was the Indians. It was the Indians. Charlie Sheen and Omar Epps and all of them. It was
I always thought it
Indians.
was the Braves for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Braves,
Indians,
Indians, kind of an Indian
Indians,
thing,
yeah, the whole having a people as a mascot thing, but we'll save that for
We're not
another.
gonna go into
We're
that.
not going to go into that right now, but yeah,
Dennis Haysbert was in that movie.
yeah.
I forgot about that.
He
The
played,
Allstate
he
guy.
played Joe Boo.
Yeah.
Was it Joe?
Pedro.
Yeah,
Coronas?
he was the
Yeah.
voodoo dude,
Yeah,
right?
he had the-
Yeah, all into
and he was
Buddha.
like talking to his bats. He was like, "Why do you not?" He was like, he was like he just had all the the different superstitions.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
the
crazy watching that
superstitions.
now, and then now he's
And
like,
now he's
that's Allstate.
It
Allstate,
wasn't Omar Epps. It was Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
Oh, that's right. It was Wesley Snipes in part 1, and then Omar Epps in part 2. Wesley Snipes didn't
sequel,
come
and
back
then-
after the
He
sequel.
was in jail
Yep.
for taxes.
Tax evasion.
I
better be
think
giving some tips
think
to,
he was slaying
Mr.
vampires. I think what happened was he got it was Wesley Snipes. I think I don't know exactly what the story was, but I want to say it was one of those. Like I'm a bigger star now. I don't want to play second fiddle. I'm gonna go off and do.
He was doing Blade.
He was doing Blade. And
Hey, Blade
maybe,
was
yeah.
hot though.
Blade was hot.
Yeah, the first
first-
big Marvel character.
Oh, that's true.
Yep.
Just dropping gems
I-
all
I
over the
heard-
place, man.
Yeah,
I heard
people forget Blade.
everybody's saying Blade's coming back.
Yeah, I mean it's a Blade. The first couple of Blade movies were like revolutionary.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they were incredible.
Blade 1 and 2 are great. Blade 3
It's so I
I don't remember Blade 3.
it's
yeah, I
called
don't-
Blade Trinity.
Blade Trinity, yeah.
It had what's her name?
Is that the
That's
dude?
married to
It's
Justin
Ryan
Timberlake. Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan-
was in
Ryan
it.
Reynolds and
What's
Jessica
her name?
Biel.
Jessica Biel
Yeah,
was in
Jessica
it.
Biel
too.
was in it,
Yeah.
and so was Triple H.
Triple H. I was just gonna say that Triple H was in it.
Yeah.
I can tell you if a vampire looked like Triple H, I would not fight that.
No, I would never.
I don't care what my superpowers were.
Nope. I'd be like, peace.
Vampire comes
like,
up.
you got
I
this
have
one.
2 words for ya. One, two.
Hey, dude, I went to a conference a couple years ago, and it was in San Francisco. It was like a training, and I kid
And some
you
vampires showed up.
No, but a dude was in this training session, and I swear on my life, I was hearing it in my head for the next 10 days. Every time he laughed, I'm not kidding. He would, I wanted to look at him so badly, but I barely knew him and just go, one laugh.
Today's number is number 8.
And he's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, never mind.
I am the count.
It's like, are you making fun of me? No.
Moving on to our another holiday classic. Well, it's not holiday classics. Moving on with this holiday classic special episode of sports movies. We're gonna touch on Cool Runnings.
Oh man, it's such a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knew what bobsledding was before this movie.
Nope. And
Well, nobody
now,
in Jamaica did.
yeah, for sure. And now everybody knows what bobsledding is. Like that movie single-handedly made bobsledding like the most popular sport in the
It made it
Olympics for a couple of
cool.
years, you know?
Yeah.
It made it cool. Like, obviously, the Winter Olympics.
Well, you put Jamaicans in any movie and make it cool, bro.
That's true.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yeah, man.
Ja, man. Just that Rasta.
Sanka, you dead, man. Yeah, man.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
And that's another Disney movie. You want to talk about how Disney owns everything.
And
Yeah,
then,
Disney does own everything. It was a fresh movie. I like at the beginning when they're all running to be sprinters, you know, because Jamaicans are known for sprinting.
they got that
And-
speed.
And
Before
somebody,
Usain Bolt.
yeah, before so dominant performances, and they trip up, and I don't even know if this is part of the true story. I don't know if this is just like, hey, we need to make the story seem cool, so let's make them trip at the beginning. But it was pretty good. It was a dope movie. But like you said, Disney owns everything, and Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer was he did the score
composer.
for this movie.
Yeah.
And Nick has a very
You're going to make me tell the story.
he has a
on air?
very interesting conspiracy theory. Any conspiracy theories, we got to let the people
I've
know.
only ever
we
told
gotta
this
let the people
story
we gotta
to
make
my
the people
wife.
wake up. Stay woke.
Come on.
Stay woke, Bandwagon Nation.
I've only ever told this story to my wife, my children, and you. So understand, you're putting me on the spot here.
Hey, it's legit though.
Disney's going to give us a cease and desist. I want you to know that, okay?
And we got some characters called Cease and Desist.
Yeah, we had cease and desist. We're making a cop show called
So-
Cease and Desist.
Yes.
And it's based on
What
two
you going? What you
two-
going? What
and
you
it's two
going to do?
detectives.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. So it's 2017. If you're alive and you are able to speak and you're past kindergarten, you've watched the movie Frozen. But most people don't know Hans Zimmer did a lot of movies for Disney, like in the early 90s all the way till
Yeah, he did
recently.
Pirates.
He did Pirates of the Caribbean. He did Lion King. He did Cool Running. He did a lot of soundtracks for Disney, and all of a sudden nobody knows why he's not doing soundtracks for Disney anymore. So Frozen comes out in 2013, and I noticed.
I like how you say like 2013, like just off the top of his head. He didn't have to look at no notes. He just,
Have you met my 4-year-old?
He just spitting out facts.
Have you met my 4-year-old?
I haven't.
Okay.
She could probably take me to school.
She's
too,
gonna
on
get
dates.
Frozen tattooed on her back. I guarantee it. Okay. The girl loves Frozen.
Thug life.
I have
Frozen
videos.
thug life.
I have videos of her doing the whole Elsa routine when she's like a year old, dude. Okay. Anyway, yes, I'm a book of useless facts too. By the way, 2013 Frozen comes out, and Hans Zimmer is not doing the soundtrack. Some guy named Christoph Beck is doing the soundtrack, and I happen to notice because I like soundtrack composers that the bad guy's name in Frozen, his name is Hans, and the good guy's name is Christoph.
Dun dun dun.
So I'm gonna say based on that it was a bad breakup with Hans Zimmer and Disney.
That's a pretty
They were
solid like.
sticking it to the man.
That's a pretty solid like connection you got there, bro. I think there's something there.
I think that might be.
I think so. I think so.
actually
Ben-
not a conspiracy theory, just straight fact.
Yeah, well, because I mean, you like that composer music too. Hans Zimmer is like the best composer right now because John Williams is semi-retired. He's just doing Star Wars.
Yeah, he is.
And they got Junkie XL. Junkie XL does a lot of soundtracks.
That's
you
true.
know.
That's true.
Never. Well, I probably heard of him. I just don't know at the top of my head.
Tron.
Yeah, he did Tron, and
Tron.
I can't remember what else he did
They
right
did,
now.
did Inception. They did a lot of stuff for. Well, not
He worked with
he
Hans
worked
Zimmer
with
on
Hans
that one,
Zimmer
though,
on
'cause Hans
Inception.
Zimmer did
Yeah.
Inception.
Yeah, he worked with
Daft
him.
Punk
Okay,
did Tron, bro.
for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, watch any popular movie right now. There's a 90% chance Hans Zimmer did the soundtrack.
True.
Yeah, he's
He
that
does
good.
it all. Yeah.
He's that good.
He did Inception.
He did Inception. One of my favorite ones that he did was The Dark Knight.
Yep.
So
Did he do? I don't think he did Wonder Woman. Did he? Did he do those?
I don't know.
no, I
don't
think that's
know.
Brian Tyler.
All right.
I think it's Brian Tyler.
But
Again,
one
I
more-
am a book of useless facts.
One more
I'm sorry.
thing with Cool Runnings though is that John Candy, the late great John Candy, I always thought he was hilarious throughout
He
the
was so
throughout
good,
the
man.
90s.
The most awkward movie I love him in is Uncle Buck.
Yes,
Uncle Buck is
Uncle
a
That
Buck
is such an awkward movie,
But it's-
but I love it.
It's
I don't
so
know
much
why.
fun. It's a fun movie.
I just imagine myself being an uncle just showing up, you know,
Yeah.
when he went and rescued the girl from the
Yeah.
party. It sounded like gunshots from
It's
the
because you have 3
Everybody-
daughters. That's the kind of stuff you start thinking about when you have daughters, man. You know what I like about John Candy is he did such a good switch, and he did it in Cool Runnings as well as he did in Uncle Buck. He does such a good switch of being funny and then boom, going serious. Because how many times was he serious in that movie? And he had those like father moments with the athletes.
He's a great he was a great serious actor too.
and then
like,
boom, he'd go right back to being
Yeah.
funny. You know, that movie
he was able
it
to
touched your
switch it.
emotions, but it was also really funny too.
Yeah.
Yep. And speaking of Christmas, John Candy was in Home Alone. Classic
He
Christmas
sure
movie.
was, man. I
John-
totally forgot about that.
He was polka band.
He was the uncle, right?
No, he was
No,
he was in the
polka band.
polka band when the mom was trying to get back home, and she was like they had no flight, so she had to
playing the
catch
clarinet.
She had to catch a trip with like this polka band that was driving a truck
Oh,
back
gotcha.
towards Chicago, and he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the leader of the polka band.
I think that was the last
Polka,
movie he
polka,
did before he
polka.
died.
Yeah.
Really?
I think that was the last
No, I
movie he
think
did.
there was.
When did he
no,
die?
No, there was one more. I remember.
Mid-90s.
It was one more. It was like a western.
Oh,
That
Wagons East.
Wagons East or West.
No,
East.
because they were trying to
Yeah,
leave
that's
the
right,
West
right,
because they
yeah.
found out the West
Wagons East,
sucked.
yeah, that was,
and they were trying to go back home.
Yep, he died
You're
before
right.
that movie came out.
Oh my gosh, guys, you want to
Yeah.
laugh your tails off and watch a movie nobody ever talks about anymore. It's Wagons East. That's
Yeah.
a classic.
Wagons East.
He's got
That's-
he,
that's
and
on
he's
my
got a
Netflix
couple of
queue.
those. The one where he was the we're way on topic now.
It's all good.
But the one where he was the private detective and he was like a man of disguise.
I don't think I saw that one.
It's like, oh man. it
I am
was-
John Candy binge watching on my Christmas break. I'll tell you guys that right now. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Good one. Good one.
He was in Christmas Vacation, right?
What? No, he wasn't.
I'm asking. Was he?
No. He wasn't in Vacation, but he been in a couple of things with Chevy Chase.
Oh, okay.
They were like in the same. They were like that same era of
In the
comedian.
same space.
Yeah, you had Steve Martin and Chevy Chase, John Candy, those guys.
Yep,
were-
Spaceballs, one of my favorite movies of
Oh
all
my
time.
gosh, I'm my own best friend.
Yeah. I'm gonna find the name. I'm gonna find the name of this movie real quick because it was a good one. But anyway, I guess we can move on. Who's Harry Crumb? Who's Harry Crumb was a really, really obscure John Candy movie where he was like this private detective, and he was like always used silly disguises and everything. But it's an obscure movie that it was really funny though.
I've heard of it. I just never seen
Yeah,
it.
John Candy. He did quite a few little like just random movies.
good.
Yeah, it was good. It was real good.
With 2 in trouble, forced out and in. Unbelievable.
Want more from Never Lose Again podcast team? Then you need to jump on that Team Bandwagon website at www.teambandwagon.com. Find links to our social media sites and subscribe. Team Bandwagon, never lose again. If you listen, they will come. Welcome back, Bandwagon listeners. So, if you haven't figured out yet, next movie we're going to talk about is Field of Dreams.
Yes.
Jamal, you ever see Field of Dreams?
I've seen bits and pieces. It feels like some people, like I talked to some people like, you haven't seen that movie? You got to be kidding me. And like, you know, I'm always getting on people like for not seeing movies. But yeah. In this list, I have seen less of these movies, but I remember a lot of cool parts.
It's a really good movie.
I just I'm not a big baseball guy, but I remember like at the end, like it had like all the images of like these past baseball players.
Yeah.
And I remember what was the actor in there?
Kevin Costner?
Kevin Costner. I remember he was like out there with his kids, and they're like, "Daddy, what are you doing?" So like, I just have to build this, kids.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I remember. Though.
It's got I won't give away too much. I know we've already ruined Rocky and stuff for people, and this is another
Hey,
old movie.
spoiler alert.
It was made in
Like, let's get into
89.
this, man.
But it's got a really good principle in the end, really good lesson in the end, because he's building the baseball field.
So-
Not sure why he's building it.
So the voice that's talking to him is that God's voice, or is that
You
like,
know, I don't think they go into who the voice is, but he thinks that building the baseball field is about he's gonna meet these like dead baseball players. He meets Shoeless. What's his name? Is Joe Jackson. He meets Shoeless Joe Jackson and all these great, baseball players and stuff. And he's like, oh, this is what I was supposed to do. And then he finds out that's not who he built it for. His dad actually comes out of the Field of Dreams, and he gets to play baseball and talk to his dad.
Oh,
Yeah, and so
that's dope.
yeah, it's really.
I gotta
really
see
good.
that.
So I just totally ruined the
Did
movie.
you cry when his dad came out?
Did
he cry? He's like, "Daddy,
I think
I
I
got
can.
to play."
But like Kevin Costner's such a good actor.
Yeah.
Especially in the 80s and 90s, he was real big. And James Earl Jones was in the movie. He helps him build the field and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I think it's to me, what I got from it. I saw it when I was in high school. What I got from it was like we're distracted by all these things, and it's stop focusing on what's not important and focus on what's important. Don't get distracted, because he was like neglecting his kids and things like that. So
Gotcha.
it's a really good movie. I don't know. Maybe that's not what it's about. It's been too long since I've seen it, but I can tell you in the end, he sees his dead dad.
Bandwagon Nation, let us know if Nick is wrong in this segment. I
Like,
hope
that's
he's
not
right.
at all what it was about.
I hope he's right because I'm gonna go watch it, and
It's
best believe I'll
really
let you
good.
guys know if he's right or wrong.
I love how many of these movies we like always go to like whether we cried in at the movie or not. Like we're gonna have to do like a whole episode about movies we cried at.
The last Star Wars I cried like a baby.
What
Yeah.
the heck?
No, the one with the Death Star.
Oh, you're talking about Rogue One?
Rogue
No,
One?
no, not Rogue One. The one before that.
Oh,
Force Awakens?
The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Dude, I cried in Rogue One.
I cried in Rogue One. Yeah, I was
The Rogue One
bawling
was like
in Rogue
Suicide
One.
Squad. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last time you'll be hearing my voice on TeamBandwagon.com. I can no longer work with Jamal Brown. The fact that he just made it. I'm getting the impression you're saying Force Awakens is better than Rogue One.
I didn't say that. I just said I cried in Rogue One because I don't know all
Did
the
you cry in
flashbacks.
Rogue One or Force Awakens?
Force Awakens. Did I say Rogue One?
See, we still can't be friends.
I can't cry in Force Awakens. You can
cry in Force
and be
Awakens.
friends
That movie
with
was
Nick?
emotional.
Cry in Force Awakens.
When like Princess Leia came on screen, I was super emotional. When I seen like R2D2,
R2D2,
that was pretty like that was a throwback. Like
Okay,
man,
so
he's
you
on screen.
cried seeing the old characters.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
give
yeah.
you that.
Yeah. Nostalgia.
And
I wasn't
technically,
gonna cry for like they saved
and
Death Star for the people.
technically, you can't tell somebody what they can and can't cry at. Everybody
You make a
hits
good
different
point. You make a good
emotional.
point. You're absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying? If
I
somebody,
accept your
if
apology,
somebody
Nick.
wants,
I do
I accept
if
apologize.
your
somebody
apology.
wants to cry at the end of a Transformers movie, whatever. I mean,
Hey,
whatever.
wait. What?
Hey,
Okay.
this is Team Bandwagon. If you want to be on Steph's bandwagon, cry during Transformers, or if you want to
I
cry,
didn't say-
Cry because it was so bad, right? You're like, I want my money back.
or for the fifth time, you thought Optimus was gonna die.
Right again.
Yeah.
Did either of you guys see the cartoon movie from back in the 80s, the Transformers cartoon movie?
I
No,
remember
but
the
I've seen
show. I
that.
didn't
I've
see the
seen that
80s.
scene.
You seen
when
the
he's
scene?
dying? Yeah,
It's
that's a freaking
sad.
sad.
It's sad.
That is so sad.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance, watch the
He's
Transformers.
like, don't be sad.
The Transformers movie from '85 or '86 or whenever it was. It was fun.
Yeah,
I will be looking that up.
it
I
was
can't
wild.
believe I haven't
it
seen
is
yet.
pretty
It's-
sad.
Because I loved Transformers when I was a kid.
Yeah. And if you've seen any number of those episodes from back in the '80s, then when you watch Transformers the cartoon movie, it'll hit you. Cause
You're gonna
it's-
ruin my childhood. I can tell already.
I ruined my own childhood watching that movie. So
How many people are in their 20s right now going, what?
yeah, yep. They made a jump. Shit, that first movie by Michael Bay was not the first Transformers movie.
Nope.
They did one back
What
in
are
the
you talking
80s.
about, cartoon?
Like, right? Beast Wars. What is this Beast Wars you speak of?
Wasn't The Force Awakens the first Star Wars movie?
Now, youngins.
Moving on to our next, I guess, sports movie that we have on our list is Hoosiers. And
Hoosiers?
That's what I said.
You said Hoosiers.
I said Hoosiers.
I thought you were trying to say Usher. In a
It's
really
already
cool
a
way.
hard name, bro. Why are you making it harder for me, bro?
Hoosiers.
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 Hoosiers. Now you got me saying it bad.
Hoosiers.
Hoosier. Can't say it anymore. Hoosier.
Anyways, it's a basketball movie.
It's a
of
basketball movie.
these
It's a classic
Indiana kids.
Midwest basketball movie.
You know,
Absolutely.
and I remember watching this movie a long time ago, but I got my first taste of Hoosiers a while ago, I in high school. I went to a conference in Indiana, and was playing some basketball with some kids. I'm like,
Hoosier
I'm
basketball is.
I'm from
is
Cali.
serious.
I'm about to hoop up these kids. No.
No.
Dude, they hoop.
I
in,
was wrong.
They
Indiana,
hoop
it's
in
religious,
Indiana. They hoop
I
hard
was
in
so wrong.
Indiana.
I got my eyes. I was woke at that time about kids from the Midwest playing basketball.
Yeah.
Like, this just ain't a Cali thing. This is a worldwide thing.
Yeah.
It's a religion out there, dude.
Hoosiers was one of the first, not one of the first, but it's your classic Goliath, David and Goliath movie, where you have this, the team in Hoosiers, they were this really, really small town, basketball team, and like the town is tired of losing every year, so they bring in kind of like this semi-retired coach who comes in and he takes over the team, and he's really, really strict with them, because the idea is that like these basketball players are a little bit kind of like they're the celebrities in town, and they've never really had a coach that challenged them,
Gotcha.
and disciplined them. So he comes in and disciplines them, and then and then there's this kid, and this is gonna be so bad. And anybody who knows me and knows that I lived in Ohio for a while and is gonna be mad that I can't remember the kid's name that they bring back. Like, cause this kid, he quit the team, and it was like, we're not gonna win unless we have this kid on our team. They bring him, they finally get him back, and then they win, and then they go off to play in the state championship, and they're playing against like this, they're playing in a big stadium, and they're playing against this, incredibly, like school that's like, really, really good.
And this is a true story, right? I think so.
I think so. See if Hoosiers is based on a true story. It could be any story,
Loosely based on a high
was it a
school
book?
team who won the 1954 state championship.
Okay, yeah. And
Loosely based.
Yeah, loosely based. Well, yeah.
You know how you do Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, the idea is that it was an extremely small town, and then
Gotcha.
they beat like some team from like Indianapolis. It was like, so.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good movie. It's a really, really good movie.
I know we got to move on quick, but you know what it reminds me of in a movie we didn't talk about earlier was Coach Carter.
Ooh,
Coach
Carter.
Carter.
That's what it kind of. It's kind of Coach Carter's kind of like a modern.
Ain't nobody
day
got
Hoosiers.
shot in Hoosiers. Cats was getting shot at in Coach Carter, man.
I'm just saying 1954 compared to like 2006. I think that was the comparison there.
Spoiler alert: Coach Carter, they lose at the end, right? They do. We were trying to think of teams that lost at the end. And yeah,
But you know why I like Coach Carter? Because I remember hearing about that story when it was a big news story. And they were talking about that coach, and they were talking about firing him because he wouldn't let the players play.
Samuel Jackson, they was gonna fire him.
Not
I know.
Not you.
Nobody fires Samuel Jackson. That dude has been in 175,000 movies.
75,000.
He's been in all the movies. Another obscure basketball movie, though, is Sunset Boulevard, and they lost at the end. Spoiler alert.
You gotta say it before you say the spoiler,
Yeah,
man.
they lose at the end of that one, so, yeah.
Sunset Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard. It's like it takes place in New York. It's a New York basketball team.
Sunset Boulevard takes place in New York.
My bad.
And it's about a basketball
It
movie.
is. Wait a
That sounds very funny. You sure,
minute.
bro?
I'm not sure if it's New York now, but I know that the reason I thought New York is because it has like
Because you're
a
from
couple
New York.
Well, I'm from New York,
And you
but it
tryna-
has a couple of rappers in it, and I was like, oh yeah, they're New York-based rappers, but I'm not sure where. I seen it a long time ago. I just know that they lost at the end.
You just wanted to get to that spoiler, bro. You wasn't trying to.
We were talking
give
about
nobody no
teams that
facts.
lost at the end. We were talking about teams that are good movies where the good guys lose at the end, but.
In a movie that these guys didn't lose in is The Mighty Ducks,
Oh,
which
snap.
is my all-time favorite. I remember first time I watched it, I was in middle school, and my friend, he had like the whole like cassette, cassette set, VHS set. So he brought over, part 1, part 2, and I think it was part 3. And I never seen it before, He's like, I've never seen these before. Oh, check them out, And it was a sleepover. So I'm watching the first one. He falls asleep. I'm like, what the heck, man? But it was dope. Mighty Ducks was dope. Mighty Ducks was
That's
fresh.
Jamal's entire life of watching hockey. Right there.
Dude, like you can't go wrong with Mighty Ducks. Mighty Ducks.
It's a good movie.
Mighty Ducks and Little Giants.
Wasn't Keenan in one of the Mighty Ducks movies?
He was in all of
He's
them.
in all. Okay.
He was in all of them. Was Slapshot? What was
The Knuckle Puck. And
Yeah,
no,
Knuckle
he
Puck.
didn't come until part 2.
You sure?
Yes.
You sure, man?
I will bet you money.
Here we
will
go.
bet you
I probably will lose.
Here
with
we
all
Because in the
random
first
facts.
Ducks, no, it was them winning the Pee Wee Championship, and he came in when they were going through the World Championship.
Yeah,
when
when
they
Weren't
played
they going to play Russia or something?
Iceland.
Yeah, and the
Or
kid,
Iceland.
the kid hurt his wrist, so they needed a replacement.
And
And he was like, "You never heard of my Knuckle Puck?"
yeah, they were out there playing on rollerblades, right? And he was like, hey,
in
you're
LA,
pretty good.
because in LA they play hockey.
Yeah. Mighty Ducks was fresh though. Mighty Ducks was
I'm not even gonna go.
Kings, man. LA Kings. They play hockey in LA.
But yeah, I'm talking about when you drive down Figueroa, you see people playing rollerblade hockey.
Yeah.
And people are getting beat up and shot over hockey.
Beat up and shot.
And beat up.
Dang,
It's
it's
like-
like can't get beat up or shot,
Beat up and shot.
and or both. Mighty Ducks is fresh though. It's a fresh movie. I think it's definitely on my top 10 list.
Ooh, that's serious.
Like
You
of
know.
all kinds of movies.
Jamal
like,
said, "Forget $1 Million
Oh,
Baby."
sports.
Sports movie.
He said, "Forget Rocky."
It could be, it could be
Well, the whole series, I guess.
As a franchise?
as a franchise.
Okay, that
So
makes
top
sense.
10.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
As a whole, like sit down for the whole day and watch something. I would
Yeah.
sit down and watch that, along with Rocky.
You can't go wrong. Like, you definitely could sit down, and whether you're watching it with a family member that's coming over or you're watching with your kids, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's definitely a good movie. And it's another movie we didn't have on there, but Little Giants. Little Giants was dope.
Little Giants was so funny. Oh my gosh, I
Was it
love
Al
that
Bundy in that one?
Yeah,
that
he
Lil-
was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he sure
he was.
was.
He was the uncle.
Ed O'Neill and Rick Moranis, right? Wasn't
Yeah.
that- Yeah, that was a funny one.
That was pretty
Yeah.
funny. My favorite part of that movie is that when they bust out all the gear and the kid puts the jock strap on as a mask. That was pretty funny. And then Icebox Jenny. We have a fantasy basketball league, and so Jenny puts her name as
Oh,
Icebox.
that's where that's from?
Icebox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like trying to
forgot
wrap my
about
brain around it when she said it. Icebox. Jenny. Yeah, now I get it. Now I get it.
Yeah. Icebox.
Icebox. That's a classic movie. That's a classic movie.
It is a classic movie.
My favorite part of the movie is total sappy moment was the kid where his dad like never was at his games because he was always on the road, and all of a sudden he goes, "Give the ball to whatever his name was," and then he's like, "I never touched the ball, coach," and he all of a sudden he's running with the ball and he's afraid of getting hit, and he sees his dad in the end zone, and he runs, gets a touchdown, and runs up to his dad.
And his dad's like on the phone, like, "Get out of here, kid! I'm on a business call."
No, the dad like drops the phone, drops his briefcase, gives his kid a hug. Sappy moment.
That was a cool moment. That very, very cool movie. Very cool movie. Al Bundy is terrific in there.
He's awesome.
And then Mr. Honey, I Shrunk the Kid's dad in there.
Yeah.
He will be forever Honey, I Shrunk the Kid's
He
dad.
will?
Yeah.
100 years
He's
from
done
now.
so many
Our
other movies. He was also
Ghostbusters.
in Spaceballs.
And he was also in Spaceballs. And he's also
Dark
in Ghostbusters.
Helmet.
Dark Helmet.
He was also in what, Steph?
Ghostbusters.
He was in
Rick
Ghostbusters?
Moranis is in Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Still, man. Honey, I Shrunk the
I'll be
Kid.
back.
all
I'm gonna
day.
grab a shower.
And then another movie that we hadn't even talked about before we went on. That's a baseball movie with kids. Bad News Bears. Have you guys ever seen Bad
Oh,
News
the
Bears?
original
The
and the new
original
one.
one. Yeah, the new
They're
one is
both
all right.
funny,
But,
but
the
the
original
original is
one
hilarious.
is
The
insanely funny.
kids drink beer at the end. That is awesome.
We're playing the Angels next week. What does that mean? Bad News Angels.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that movie's hilarious.
Yep.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah,
It's kind of
that was
old.
that was one of the very first movies that had the whole ball in the glove trick. Like they go to the mound and they're like discussing what they're gonna do, and then the first baseman takes the ball back to the first base, and then he tags the guy. He's like, he's out. It's like
It's they have
Yeah.
Mr. Wilson in there from Dennis the Menace,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And grumpy old men.
Yeah.
So
That movie's legit.
That's a classic.
Another movie with kids and baseball, Sandlot.
Sandlot. Yeah.
Probably the greatest baseball movie ever was Sandlot.
That's a bold statement.
That's
Nick.
a bold statement.
You know what? After you say that, we can still be friends, though.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm not as mean as you, man.
Let's get on the friendship bandwagon. Come on, Jamal. It's plenty of space.
Care Bears share.
The best ship is friendship.
The more you know. PSA from Nick.
The Sandlot's a classic, though.
Yeah. Sandlot is a classic.
That's
At the end, you know, when he finally puts his PF flyers on and go and somebody was telling me that you know we watch and like, oh, that's a cool movie, but I was talking to somebody who was like, that was my life. Like that's all we did was play baseball and go out there, and I'm like, man, you had a pretty crummy childhood. There's no iPads, no video games, just baseball all day.
Baseball.
I would have been bored out of my mind.
Yep. Well, when I was a kid in the summertime, we went outside and we didn't come back until sundown. So we always finding crazy stuff to do.
My dad bought me a Sega Genesis. I think I was 10 when I got one. But you know what? It didn't matter. We had a baseball field up the street, and we had perfectly a good street where we could play football. He kicked us out every single day and said, "Don't come back until the street lights come on."
Dang.
Yeah.
Yep.
I used to have a tree house where I was back there.
Oh, that's cool.
Hanging out in the tree house. Used to have pizza parties back there. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun stuff. But I always found a video game somehow, some way. Always.
Till this day, I'm obsessed with video games. So my dad did everything he could to fight it. He was like, get out there and play
I
sports.
just go to my friend's house and play. And then play until like it got dark.
Yeah.
And then like trying to make excuses like, hey, his mom said I can stay and eat dinner. Can we do that? All right. Keep playing.
Playing Blitz.
Playing Blitz, playing GoldenEye.
GoldenEye is a
Playing
classic.
all
What
the
was
classics.
that football game with like the monsters? Like it was like you played with like all these monster creatures, and then but there was like explosions and stuff all over the field. It was.
I don't remember that one. I don't think I ever played that one.
Well, we can move on. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, he'll look it up.
I
But
think Steph was dreaming about.
The Sandlot was really good, and I like the end. And James Earl Jones is in it. You can't really beat James Earl Jones. You're the kids making all that racket.
But that's the dude who had the big dog in the back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darth Vader
It's Darth Vader.
and Mufasa. And this is CNN.
With two in trouble, forced out and in. Unbelievable.
Team Bandwagon is on YouTube. Subscribe to the most winningest channel and never miss an update. You can find us on YouTube under the name Bandwagon Nation. This is Team Bandwagon. Never lose again. Welcome back to Team Bandwagon Never Lose Again podcast. I'm your host, Jamal Brown. We still got Steph in the studio, my man Nick, and no, they're not elves and reindeer, and I'm not Santa. But this is Team Bandwagon Christmas special, and we just hitting you guys with all the cool sports movies. This is a top sports movie, but obviously we're missing a lot. But let us know if we're missing anything. We're gonna round off our list with a few rememberables, and let us know if we're missing anything. The next movie we have, everybody says it's not technically a sports movie, but I'm gonna put it in there because it kind of is. It's in there, you know. It's a competition. You know, there was a crowning of the victor at the end, and I'm gonna just put it out there. Major Payne. Major Payne was a legit sports movie.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Come on, guys. All right, ROTC battle at the end, right? What kind of battle did they have?
Kind of ROTC.
Yeah.
It was a race. Then they had like a gladiator challenge.
Okay.
They had like some wrestling.
All right.
That's like all the awesome things put together. Like if it was a competition on TV right now, they had a race, wrestling match, what was it? They were marching. They did like a rap at the end. Hip hop, hip hop.
Oh, so that makes it a sports movie?
Hey, but if it was on TV, would you watch it?
I'm not. This is not about whether I would watch it or not. This is about
only
whether it's a
about-
sports movie. It's
All
not a
right.
sports movie. If Major Payne is a sports movie, then Revenge of the Nerds is a sports movie, okay?
How is that?
Because at the end of Revenge of the Nerds, there was also a sports competition.
Well, you should have put it on this list, bro, because Major Payne is on this list.
Come on, that's like saying the Japanese game shows are sports.
They are, dude.
Get out of here.
The
When they
commentators-
roll a 80-pound tire down to see how far it goes, or the guy's wearing a rubber suit on ice.
No, what makes that show is not the athletes, because they are athletes. It's the commentators. All right, if you have some good commentation, then we're good to go.
Then that makes it a sports movie?
Well, it's not technically a movie because it's a show.
No, but Japanese game shows, you don't even know what they're saying.
Did it?
But we still watch it because they play
The English
craziest
dub
games.
parts are
Get
funny.
out of here. I watch it without English just because those shows are funny.
Oh my gosh, why would you waste your time watching something?
Because
you
they're
don't understand?
hilarious.
Didn't they have like a sports competition at the end of Monster University? Like when they were trying to like determine whether they were gonna remain as like a
It was a scare-off.
fraternity.
Wasn't it a scare off though?
it was a competition, and at the end of it, they crowned a victor.
So
Was there
Monsters
running?
University-
Was there any athletic
Yeah,
abilities involved?
There was some type of athletic, but it was mixed with scaring stuff. Monster
So
University.
now we're gonna.
You're reaching.
Sports
You're
movie.
reaching, Steph.
You're reaching.
No, I am not reaching.
I'm on Steph's
You
side
guys,
with this one.
you guys watch
Let's
Major
see.
Payne and
Whatever.
let me know if
Hey,
you've seen it.
Major Payne is a dope movie,
It's a classic.
but it's not a sports movie.
Hey Jamal, I just gotta say one thing with your analysis of Major Payne.
Oh my gosh.
One, don't you feel dumb?
Two, look at you.
Three, don't you ever call Major Payne a sports movie? You can't rock kick you into the ground.
Hey, that was legit. That was legit, man. That was legit.
Oh
I thought I had some quotes in my pocket
It's
to
official.
dole out,
It's
but nah.
official.
Yeah.
That-
All right, let's
that's-
moving on.
That's
Oh man, man, I promise. I had,
Episode
my
ever.
gosh.
I had-
Merry Christmas.
I had some quotes in my pocket from Major Payne, but I'm not even gonna bust them out. That just kills them all. That kills them all, man.
oh man.
Remember the Titans, man. Remember the
the
Titans. Another
Titans.
Denzel Washington classic.
Denzel Washington. Yep.
Man, this dude makes hits. Anything he touches.
Denzel
Turns
Washington
into gold.
is his own genre, man. Like you have sports movies, you have superhero movies, you have westerns, dramas, romantic comedies, and Denzel movies.
That's a
and
good
and
point.
Samuel L. Jackson movies.
And
too.
Samuel L. Jackson movies, yeah, they both have their own
Do you
genre.
think the Actors Guild should create a category? Like you said, the best action movie, best this movie, best, and the nominee for best Denzel movie.
Yes.
he's
And then
he's
and
on
then he
that.
gets mad because he couldn't win both of them. He had to
exactly.
pick one of them.
And he gets up on stage and he comes up and he's like, you're going to try and make Denzel choose between one of his movies? I'm Denzel Washington. You know what I'm saying? He's going to give one of his big monologues because Denzel always gives great monologues. And he gave an amazing one in Remember the Titans. Like
Every monologue he did like 10 of them in that movie, and every single
Right,
one of
that's
them was
right.
great.
Yeah.
Every single one of them was great.
Was it Gettysburg? They ran to
Oh my
Gettysburg.
gosh.
just
And you know what? That's what makes the movie so great, right? It's not only based on a true story, but it's about a real conflict that we dealt with as a country.
Yep.
And you know what? The movie, it didn't have to say, this is why we're right, this is why this happened. It just it made you feel what those kids were going through at the time.
Right.
And how they came together.
I'm not as deep as you guys. My favorite part is the music. Ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
I saw a documentary about that movie. 'cause it was
If
one of
you
my favorite
need me,
movies.
call me. No matter where you are, no matter how
Jamal's
far.
not gonna
No,
let
no.
us get real here. They were interviewing the real guy that Denzel played, and he was like, I love Denzel. To me, he's my favorite actor. He goes, but I don't think he was mean enough to play me.
He's one of those mean dudes.
He was for real mean.
500 million push-ups.
And that's with Denzel. If you drop a pass, you run a mile. You miss a block, you run a mile. If you fumble the football, I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts, and then you will run a mile.
before I forget, Friday Night Lights.
Ooh, my gosh.
Friday Night Lights.
The
How did we forget
movie
Friday Night Lights. I
and
love
the
the movie.
and the show.
I never watched the show. I've
I
never
haven't
an
seen the
episode,
show,
but
but
the
I've never seen the
movie
show.
was unreal.
Amazing. It was amazing. The Program. Have you ever seen The Program?
I've never seen the program.
The Program.
Man, we're forgetting some good movies.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Christmas special, y'all.
Christmas
Enjoy.
special.
We're gonna have to do a Valentine's Day special.
Yeah.
Just so we can come back and do this again.
So yeah, we'll come back. So yeah, those two just popped into my
Man,
head.
Friday
but
Night Lights,
Friday
though.
Nights is
Like now that you're
Yeah.
booting my memory a little bit, that might be
Yeah.
my favorite sports
That's
movie
it.
of all time.
That's that one. That one.
Friday Night Lights.
Friday
That
Night
one
Lights
goes
was
hard,
good.
yo. It goes hard. Yeah.
That's
Seriously.
legit.
Yep. So does The Program. It's not as good as Friday Night Lights, but it's good.
I'm gonna look up the program. We're gonna watch it before the next time we do this.
The program, is that like about like a drafting?
No, it's college. It's about a college team.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
I don't know,
about
for some reason I thought it was about drafting.
yeah.
All right. Well, to top off our list, we have Rudy, which
One of the greatest sports movies of all time.
I think the overhyped sports movie of all
One of the
time.
greatest. They carried
It's
Rudy
so good,
out.
Jamal.
They carried Rudy out on their shoulders, man.
It's based on a true story.
Based on a true story.
I think maybe
Another
I watched it in
Midwestern.
school. Maybe it was like not a good day or something.
Yeah, watch it again.
I gotta watch it again because I was watching.
on
I was like,
Crackle.
what's the big deal? Like, you work hard. Yeah.
What's the
you get
big deal?
places.
It's Rudy. Rudy laid the foundation for like the next 30 years of sports movies, yo.
Absolutely.
It's pioneered.
He wasn't being taken serious. Nobody wanted him on the team. I think I was getting frustrated with him because he made them look bad because how hard he worked.
Gotcha.
It's hard work pays off, man.
Rudy.
I gotta check it out.
Blue collar, all American, Midwestern, Notre Dame.
I remember bits and pieces. He lived in like a trailer, right?
Well,
No,
well,
no,
he
no,
lived
no,
in.
no.
It was
His
it
dad
was
had a house in
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
but it was like downtrodden. Like it was.
What
it was
movie?
not
Somebody
Pittsburgh.
lived in a trailer. It was a sports movie.
8 Mile.
Sports movie.
That's a competition. At the end, they was competing in the rap competition.
That's as much of
and
a
then they
sports
crowned the
movie.
victor.
As Major Payne.
Oh my god.
You ever rap? I get out of breath when I rap.
Hey, I will put 8 Mile in that.
Ah, see, I just opened a can of worms.
should never say
No.
anything.
Cheddar cheese, cheddar bob.
Put Talladega
Ain't no better
Nights
than C
before
to
you
me.
put-
Bee rabbit, float like a beast.
I
sting
would
like
I
a
would
butterfly,
count
so
Talladega
would I.
Nights more as a
Totally a
sports
sports movie.
Yeah,
And that's my
Yeah.
favorite Will Ferrell movie. I know that's blasphemy for all you Anchorman fans and Step Brother fans, but Talladega Nights is my favorite Will
What's my
Ferrell movie.
favorite Will Ferrell movie? Not that this is the point of this podcast.
Shake and Bake.
What's my favorite Will Ferrell movie?
Favorite Will
I
Ferrell
don't
movie?
know. That's a tough one.
I have to say
Is it
Anchorman.
Anchorman?
Most people, it's Anchorman.
maybe.
Other
I
people,
gotta
it's
say-
Step Brothers.
And you know what? I thought Anchorman 2 was gonna be like a cash grab. I'm like, no way they can top Anchorman 1.
And they did.
And I was watching
think
it,
they
and I
topped
was,
it, but it was
They
good.
topped it, but it was.
I was laughing out. I was
was-
eating something.
yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is so freaking
Yeah.
stupid.
My
Like,
favorite part of the movie was the end when all the news anchors
the
were
battle
fighting.
royale.
The MTV
the battle
news,
royale.
Yeah.
the
was
Canadian news.
Yeah.
Kanye
That was
West
so
makes an
funny.
appearance. And,
The Canadian news team
Jim
was my favorite.
Carrey.
We're gonna
Amy
kill all of
Poehler
you.
and
I'm
Tina
sorry.
Fey. I'm sorry.
well, Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
This concludes our holiday special, our first one of many. Hopefully, down the line, we have a bright future here
Yeah,
at Team
absolutely.
Bandwagon. There's a lot of winning going on and a lot of bandwagons to jump on. So you guys stay tuned to what's happening with Team Bandwagon in 2018. A lot of fun and exciting stuff. A lot of stuff to jump on the bandwagon with. A lot of winning. A lot of losing too, but we won't be talking about that because this is Never Lose Again podcast.
That's right.
So you guys, happy holidays. Thank you guys. Let us know if we missed any of your favorite sports movies, and let me know if Major Payne is on your list because it's on mine.
It's not on mine.
And if the haters is talking, let them talk.
I know I'm getting you next year now.
A Major Payne.
Major Pain on Blu-ray.
Actually, I just picked it up on what was it Walmart for $5, and that little $5
Blu-ray?
Even better.
All right.
Nah, it's not Blu-ray.
Was it in
though.
the sports section?
No, but other sports ones was in there.
All right. We'll get you the VHS next year then. Since you already have the DVD.
All right, guys. Well, thanks, Steph, for coming through.
Hey, it's my pleasure, man.
In
Team
studio.
Bandwagon, never lose again.
In studio. I enjoy you being in studio, man.
Yeah,
Can you
I
make
like-
it out
I like
every
being
every
here.
week for every
Hey,
episode?
I'll do what I can.
You know, just
I will do
fly out
what I
on
can.
Monday mornings.
I like
and then fly
I
out
like hanging out with
Tuesday
y'all.
mornings.
This
We
is,
need an
this is
expense
fun.
account so we
This
can
is
get
fun,
Stefan
yeah.
out here.
We're getting there. Kickstarter, Team Bandwagon Kickstarter.
Just take an Uber every time. Just take an Uber, man.
If you start on Saturday, you can make it by Monday.
Right?
It would be like $5,200.
I like how you put thousands and hundreds behind every like number. That is amazing.